opportunities to help South Los Angeles and to ensure a similar situation doesn't happen again.
I think that more of our conversation is about what do we do about the economy in this area.
What we need to look at, I think, going forward is how we make structural changes so that we don't continue this cycle of human behavior and tragedy that's gone on through 3 of these now in Los Angeles, 65, 92, and, we're due in a couple of years maybe if we go at this rate.
This short video shows the changes from the burning streets to prosperity in the 25 years. However, challenges still remain.
Many of the projects in and around commercial centers targeted for destruction in 1992 created thousands of jobs in recent years and will continue to do so.
Officials hope, despite racial profiling, excessive use of force, and other abuses that continue to exist, perhaps discussions such as this one will help open a door for economic prosperity and further growth in this area. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
The Empowerment Congress promotes partnerships between the community and elected officials. Well, it was billed as LA's largest May Day march since a violent demonstration in MacArthur Park 10 years ago. Would LAPD be able to handle things? Well, Gil Reyes has more from LA's first May Day rally since President Trump took office.
Things got patriotic when downtown demonstrators marched on May Day.
It's a day when we celebrate and honor workers' contributions, but we also honor immigrant contributions. And under this administration, not only are immigrant families, but a lot of other communities are under threat.
Hanging over like a dark cloud, President Trump. His plans to deport undocumented immigrants, threatening much of LA's low-wage workforce. Many of those workers marching today. Their message, resist.
Everyone needs to respect workers, respect immigrants, respect the contributions we make to this country. Today is our day. These are our streets.
The demonstration was mostly peaceful. Minority, labor, LGBT, and women's rights groups marching together. More than 100 organizations marched to City Hall, where things got heated between Trump and anti-Trump supporters. LAPD stepping in the middle to prevent any real violence. Mayor Eric Garcetti renewed his pledge not to use city resources like LAPD to deport people. The mayor says here in Los Angeles, all people are welcome.
You can come here from Mexico. You can come here from Europe, from Africa. You can love whoever you love. You can be whatever you want to be. You can worship God however you want or not at all. Los Angeles, we define you by what's in your heart.
We need to stand up and send a message to the rest of America that says, ahora estamos juntos. Now we are together.
In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
An estimated 30,000 people showed up. Police made few arrests. Chief Charlie Beck says speaking with the various groups and setting the ground rules months before the event helped to prevent any major problems. Well, turning now to Boyle Heights, where a May Day march there targeted both the U.S. administration and the LAPD. Ana Marcos has more.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
It's clear from the banners that for this group of protesters in Boyle Heights, the target for this march is Trump's administration and its anti-immigrant stance.
We're here to demand legalization for all, no to the deportations. We're here to demand equality and respect for Mexicanos, Chicanos, and Centroamericanos, and all immigrants who are facing the racist Trump attack.
I understand the struggles that my mom and my dad went through as being immigrants. I have to show that we will fight back when our community is under attack.
Protesters also have a message for the cops as they march right by the LAPD's Hollenbeck station in Boyle Heights.
We're coming out into the streets today on May Day, International Workers' Day, to come out and say that no more killings by LAPD. We are also here because the majority of our community is undocumented. A lot of them are immigrants. We want to make sure that Trump knows and understands that Boyle Heights is united against deportations.
But the marchers demand more than just a stop to deportations. They want legalization for undocumented immigrants now.
My father was deported when I was only 12 years old, and at that young age, I had to face the consequences of growing up without a father by my side.
They are students, teachers, activists, families, and community members, both documented and undocumented. They may not like American immigration policies, but they have adopted one American practice, the right to protest. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Thousands of Armenian Angelenos took to the streets to mark the 102nd anniversary of the Armenian Genocide. Anna Marcos takes us to the Unified Young Armenians March for Justice.
Little Armenia in the heart of Hollywood. A sea of flags helped mark the Armenian genocide that killed 1.5 million Armenians in Turkey in 1915. The Armenians here may be living the American dream, but they won't easily forget the nightmare they left behind.
We are asking America, we are asking everybody to recognize the genocide that happened. The reason being the genocide happening today in Syria because nobody in 1915 realized the genocide for Armenians. Not only for Armenians, for Greeks, for Turks. Just because we were Christians, just because we are intelligent people, nobody had a right to do this to nation.
And I'm very happy to see a lot of young people because the new generation has to fight for our rights and for our feelings and our memories.
The piles of skulls and skeletons say it all, recorded for history thanks to some of the first cameras of the era. But to this day, it is illegal in Turkey to talk about what happened to the Armenians and other Christians at that time.
1915 never again!
Armenians are here to stay, and we're not going anywhere, and we're just going to continue to populate.
Mayor Eric Garcetti and other government leaders took to the streets with their Armenian fellow citizens.
Los Angeles' diversity is its greatest strength, but so is its moral voice, especially in these times when we see walls being proposed and people being excluded because of their religion. It's even more important to do.
We refuse to stand down and deny history. And if we deny genocide anywhere, we deny genocide everywhere.
Some would like to see not only apologies, but reparations from Turkey for what the Armenians suffered. But for now, honoring the history of their mothers and fathers and keeping their memory alive is reason enough to march. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
More than 100,000 attended the LA March. Well, turning now to making LAX run more efficiently, but with that comes some massive work. Rasha Goel has more on the temporary changes that officials hope will help make LAX the gold standard of travel.
A total of 28 airlines were involved in this move, which took place over a 5-day period. This has been the largest terminal relocation in the history of LAX.
We're going to move airlines between terminals 5 and 6 and 2 and 3.
Over 3,000 pieces of IT devices have actually been deployed or moved already in preparing for this. 1 million square feet has actually been touched with construction to prepare for the relocation and the moves of the airlines.
This is all part of Delta Airlines' planned improvements at the international airport. Delta will spend up to $1.9 billion to modernize and upgrade terminals 2 and 3.
Delta will move from 16 gates and take up 22 gates in terminals 2 and terminals 3. In addition, we're going to build dual alley taxiways on the north side. So because those terminals are spread apart further, you can actually get planes in and out simultaneously, which you cannot do on the south side.
Delta will build a connector to the Tom Bradley International Terminal that will help in our efforts to tie all 9 terminals together beyond security screening, something that currently doesn't exist.
These PUPs were just one of the steps that officials took to ensure passengers had a smooth and stress-free experience during the relocation.
You'll see new green neon vans that will exclusively shuttle passengers between terminals 2 and 3 and 5 and 6. There'll be over 500 new wayfinding signs. You'll see surged airport staff working around the clock, and dedicated wayfinders who will help get you to the right gate.
Improving the passenger experience has been a top priority at LAX, and with Delta Airlines plans, airport officials say it's a perfect fit for this world-class airport. In Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
More information can be found at laxishappening.com. Well, can holding hands make a difference in unifying a city? Well, some Angelenos believe it can. Take a look at this Hands Around City Hall event as the city marks 25 years since the court verdict that sparked the LA riots. Anna Marcos has more. Anna.
Yana, it was 25 years ago that the Rodney King verdict came down, which sparked the LA riots. But what a difference 25 years and holding hands makes. The bell in the tower rang close to 60 times, once for each death during the LA riots, as people formed a human hand brigade around the entire block of City Hall. The Hands Around City Hall event, a way to symbolize unity on the 25th anniversary of the LA riots. The trouble erupted after 4 white LAPD officers were found not guilty in the beating of African-American parolee Rodney King.
I'm here because it was unsettling to me. I actually live in South Central. A lot of the riots happen in my neighborhood. If you go to the left, you're going to see a meat market burn. You go to the right, you're going to see a cleaner's burn.
One of my favorite neighborhood restaurants was burned. I can remember the smell of the smoke in the air. I can remember seeing people in the streets and the sense of fear.
City leaders, children, community members from every corner of LA, and lots of city workers, all taking part in the hand-holding exercise. LA has come such a long way, in fact, that the LAPD, who were at the center of the firestorm in 1992, can now hold hands with the very community that once fought them.
It was really cool to think about, like, so many different people coming together and holding hands. It's like the heart of the city.
Because the brief explanation they gave us was that it's to make us feel as one.
Angelenos still have much work to do in tackling the lack of equity and the divisiveness in many neighborhoods. But on this one afternoon, the feeling of being one, of division turned to unity, happened with just the holding of each other's hands. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Property damage during the LA riots was estimated at more than $1 billion. More than 11,000 people were arrested. Well, Angelenos are making a social statement with their fashion and letting their jeans do the talking. Rasha Goel has more on an annual event that seeks to spread an important message.
When a survivor tells you their story, listen, believe, and support them.
That's part of the message Claudia Batres Flores is sharing on Denim Day. A sexual assault survivor, she joins many in an annual worldwide rape prevention campaign, which encourages people to stand in solidarity with sexual assault victims by putting on jeans for the day.
This campaign is really important to me because it's a physical manifestation of the support that oftentimes you don't feel as a survivor.
This day was proclaimed in 1992 as a result of an Italian court case in which an 18-year-old was allegedly raped by a driving instructor.
She reported the rape. He was convicted. And years later, the conviction was overturned because the Supreme Court justice said she was wearing tight jeans. He could not have removed them by himself. Therefore, she must have helped him. Therefore, not raped, but consensual sex.
Los Angeles has been participating in Denim Day since 1993.
There is never an excuse for sexual violence. There is never an invitation for rape. Unfortunately, as simple as this message should be, it is not.
I challenge every Angeleno to think about places where you don't think it occurs, between people who are in a relationship, between husbands and wives or spouses, in looking at those places where we play sports, those places where we recreate, those places where we work, and those places where we live. It's on our blocks. It's at our workplaces. It's in our families.
Several city entities are working together to ensure victims in Los Angeles have a support system. In 2015, Metro launched a campaign to help people report any incidents of sexual assault. Officials say since then, there has been a decrease in incidents from 22 to 15%.
Our It's Off Limit campaign encouraged our riders to speak up and report any incidents of sexual harassment or sexual violence and to contact our police immediately.
Their message, they say, is clear. Sexual violence is not welcome here. Not in LA, not my campus, not in my locker room, not on my bus. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Denim Day is held in April every year during Sexual Assault Awareness Month. The Hollywood Chamber shines a spotlight on local businesses, taking a stand in support of the arts and recognizing those who promote parks and open space in the city. All this in City Beat. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce held its 29th annual Hollywood Expo, a networking event that provides exhibitors an opportunity to showcase their business and guests get a chance to see what's new in Hollywood. Los Angeles City Councilman Mitch O'Farrell was among the guest speakers, as well as Hollywood Chamber President and CEO LaRon Gubler.
It's a way for businesses to get great exposure for their business, kind of a business-to-business event. And we encourage all the businesses in Hollywood to do business with one another.
Hundreds of arts advocates gathered outside City Hall recently to celebrate Arts Day 2017 and demonstrate the importance of the art community as local, state, and federal agencies are determining arts budgets. Demonstrators dressed in red also attended the LA City Council meeting where City Council member Mitch O'Farrell presented an arts proclamation. O'Farrell said that art is essential and must be supported. LA Mayor Eric Garcetti spoke at the annual LA Parks Foundation Rose Award Luncheon held at Exposition Park's Rose Garden. The Rose Award was established to recognize women who have made extraordinary contributions to the quality of life in Los Angeles. This year's honoree was Andrea Vandekamp, who throughout her career has been a fundraising pioneer for the city's most important and artistic venues, notably Disney Concert Hall. LA Parks Foundation provides support to the city by raising funds to improve park facilities, enhance park environments, preserve and restore historic elements in our city parks, support sustainability projects, and purchase property for future parkland.
It's a simple goal, but every child, every family, everybody should have a park within walking distance of where they live.
Well, it's time to hit the beach for beach cleanup, that is. Take a free boat tour of the LA Harbor and ride, run, or walk to support safety on the streets. All this in this week's Things to Do. Heal the Bay's beach cleanup is a fantastic opportunity to show your local beach some love. It's easy, fun, and a great way to help keep our beloved beaches clean. Everyone is welcome, so bring your friends or make some new ones. It all takes place on Saturday, May 20th at Toes Beach Tower 41 at 6200 Pacific Avenue. For more, visit healthebay.org. In celebration of World Trade Week, the Port of Los Angeles hosts the Waves and Wheels event at locations in both San Pedro and Wilmington. The free event offers boat tours of Los Angeles Harbor and unique displays of port vehicles and equipment. So grab the whole family for a truly fun adventure on the water. The tours take place Saturday, May 20th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Banning's Landing or Downtown Harbor. For more, visit portoflosangeles.org. It's not just an event, it's a movement for safety on the streets of California. Join the movement, be part of the solution. Join cyclists, runners, walkers, and many others to enjoy the beautiful scenery and back roads of Griffith Park. The rides take you on a journey throughout the park and surrounding areas. By participating, you are supporting Streets Are For Everyone, or SAFE, and Walk and Rollers in their combined missions for creating safer, healthier communities by making the streets safer for all users, ending hit-and-run fatalities, and encouraging people of all ages to be more active. The race begins on May 21st at 7 a.m. at Griffith Park. For more, visit finishtheride.org. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm an Iyengar yoga teacher here in Los Angeles, and you're watching LA City View, Channel 35, Our City, Our Channel. Namaste.
Good morning, good morning. Could you please take your seats? Shh. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, May 17th. Want to welcome everybody to Los Angeles City Hall and the Los Angeles City Council meeting. Mr. Clerk, if you would please call the roll.
Very good, sir. Blumenfield, Bono, Buscaino, Cedillo, Aguilar, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 12 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. O'Farrell moves and Mr. Koretz seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Harris Dawson moves and Mr. Gil Cedillo seconds.
Mr. President, items 1 through 7 are items noticed for public hearing.
Do you have cards?
Yes, sir. Cards on all items.
Okay, continue.
That brings us to items 8 through 16. There are items for which public hearings have been held. The Planning and Land Use Management Committee has submitted items 11 and 12 without recommendation. There has been a request to continue those two items, 11 and 12, to this Friday, May 19th.
So ordered. So let's vote on the items that were not called special. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Continue.
Very good, sir. That brings us to items 17 through 22. There are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do you have cards from the public on those items?
Yes, sir. Cards on all items.
Okay, continue.
Item 23 is an item scheduled for closed session. Would you like to hold it on the desk?
At this point, I think we will hold it. In fact, let me defer to Mr. Krikorian on item 23.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Item 23 was waived by Budget and Finance Committee, but it does appear to be a routine settlement that I would recommend approval of in open session unless members have questions or concerns.
Okay, well, we'll hold that. It's my understanding, Mr. Clerk, we have cards.
Yes, sir.
On that item, or the. Continue.
On the continuation agenda, item 24 is an item for which public hearing has not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, that item is now before this body as well. Okay, so before we begin, it is my pleasure to introduce a group of young students from the council of Hillcrest Drive Elementary School. Give them a round of applause, and would you guys stand up and wave at yourselves on television? I'm going to start with Mr. Murphy. Are you here? Why don't could you guys let Mr. Murphy come up? We're going to do general public comment with Mr. Murphy. And Mr. Murphy, you have items 1, 7, 17, and 24. 1 through 7, and then 17 through 24. My mistake.
Yeah, it's all right. Item 1. It's the rent escrow. My management's doing a good job. Item 7, I'm for item 7. I'd like to get to my general public comment. Gil Cedillo, congratulations to you. You deserve it. I don't know who won District 7. Congratulations to whoever won 7. You're the only person, Cedillo, you're the only person that knows how to run the District 1. You're an expert. You do a good job, wonderful job. Older people should run for city council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Again, I want to just say this about the kids, the young people that are here from Hillcrest Drive Elementary School. It's my understanding they're grades 3, the 3rd grade through the 5th, and that they're representatives of the council. and that they've come by to just watch how the council works, and we want you to know that we're very excited to have you all here. So let's give the young people one more round of applause from Hillcrest Drive Elementary School. Okay, it's my understanding that we can vote on items 3, 4, 5, and 6 at this time. So on those items, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Why don't we go to Mr. Walsh? Can I get his items on my screen? Mr. John Walsh, you have items 1, 2, 17A, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22A, and 24. And then, Mr. Walsh, you'll have your general comment minute.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, or J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dams. Number 1, street lighting. You do an excellent job. I've lived here since '76. I have no complaints once you get rid of the carbon arc lights. They were terrible. But when the new invention, everything is fine. Number 7, budget. That's a basket case. 17, rent escrow account. Again, you do an excellent job. I haven't had any problems with the city concerning my rental since 1976. Number 18, okay, these are alleys and places that you are taking from the property owners and handing over to the developers. It's quite illegal. Oh, well, it's immoral anyway. Number 18 is another alley you're taking. Number 19, you love to gobble up alleys to fit the developer. Another 19, another alley. Number 20. This is impact on the, okay, this is the aqueduct that we own has been destroyed by the rains. It's going to cost us, I understand, $11.6 million. They're not going to talk about it. That's for temporary fix. They're not going to mention the $11.6 million. If that's wrong, all you have to do is say, John Walsh is wrong. He's full of BS. Number 20. Okay, number 24. Okay, the final maps. Police enforcement around the Hollywood sign during Memorial Day. The police have been told that if anybody comes up there who's not white, shoot them. Okay? This is racist. The whole deal with the sign is racist. You can have your 15 seconds back, and I want to go.
Let's give Mr. Walsh his general public comment. Mr. Walsh.
Okay, last Friday at about 10:30, the fire alarm went off. There was no plan. You sat around here for 15 or 20 minutes. You did nothing. We all could have been burned to death. Then you lied and said it was a false alarm. But fortunately, TV went and found out that it was a third-floor microwave that exploded. There were flames all over the place. You did nothing. And the children here know that fire alarms, the number one thing you must do is if the alarm sounds, you must evacuate. Well, these people didn't evacuate. How do I know that? Just check Friday's meeting. This city and this building is a fire trap. And you're trying to keep it quiet. It wasn't in the LA Times because you're afraid that the Swiss will not give you the Olympics. It's a fire trap, this building.
Mr. Walsh. Mr. Walsh, thank you. Thank you very much.
You weren't here.
Thank you.
To blame.
But no, thank you, Mr. Walsh. Okay. Okay, so I want Mr. Jimenez. You have item 1. You'll get a minute for that and a minute for your general public comment. Joe Jimenez. I believe, Mr. Clerk, we can now vote on items 1 and 2. Let's put them on the board. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Thank you. There are a couple of people here for the budget. Could we get those? Okay, if I could get Lindsay Nolan and Anisha Hingorani, please come forward. And is Miss Nolan here? I don't think I see her. Welcome, and sorry that I butchered your last name.
Lindsay went to the restroom. She should be back
We'll
soon.
get her when she comes back.
Okay, great. Good morning, council members. My name is Anisha Hingorani. I'm with Multicultural Communities for Mobility. We are a founding member of the Vision Zero Alliance and the co-chair of the Enforcement Working Group with the Advancement Project. We are here to urge City Council to direct more resources to neighborhoods most impacted by traffic fatalities, including East LA, South LA, and the East San Fernando Valley. Our communities lack basic safety infrastructure like lighting, crosswalks, and stop signs. In fact, these intersections in these communities have the highest pedestrian and bicycle collisions in our communities. This is about valuing lives of children, seniors, and immigrants. We are disappointed that half of the embarrassingly low $3 million proposed for Vision Zero is going to be allocated for the police department. We are firmly against any policy that results in the continued over-policing of our communities. The city needs to take the issue of traffic safety seriously and direct meaningful funding for Vision Zero strategies that include design, education, community participation to ensure that our streets are safer, more walkable, more bikeable, and more accessible for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Did Miss Nolan return? Hey, is that Miss Nolan? Please come forward.
Good morning. My name is Lindsay Nolan, and I'm the Policy and Outreach Coordinator with LA County Bike Coalition. This week is Bike Week in Los Angeles, meaning that the Bike Coalition is extremely busy. We're running around from event to event, making sure everyone knows that LA County is a great place to ride your bike. Despite this crazy week, I came out today to comment on the Budget and Finance Committee's action that they took last Friday, in which they irresponsibly decided to defund Vision Zero in this year's budget. It's ironic that in a week where everyone is celebrating biking in the city, the Budget and Finance Committee thought it was a good idea to tell people that bike and walk that they don't matter, that their safety doesn't matter. As advocates, we want to make sure you know that we saw what you did. We saw that you gave more money to the police department and in fact confirmed our fears that this city would use Vision Zero as an excuse to fund more enforcement, which this year's budget does with the very little money that actually is allocated towards Vision Zero. We saw that you gave more money to potholes.
Thank you. Thank you. Rachel Kassenbrock. Morning.
Good morning. My name is Rachel. I'm here on behalf of the Downtown Women's Center. We greatly appreciate the Budget Committee's recommendation that $2 million be added to the budget to continue the LA Rise program, a critical resource that helps individuals with homelessness experience maintain permanent housing. However, if the proposed budget is implemented as is, we stand to lose other vital programs that keep people out of homelessness. At DWC, the majority of women we serve here have experienced sexual assault, domestic violence, human trafficking, child abuse, and other forms of physical and sexual trauma. These women require unique services that are facing drastic cuts from the initial proposed budget for the coming fiscal year. These services include women-only shelter beds and coordinated case management that help women out of homelessness and into permanent housing. We understand that resources will soon be available for these programs through Measure H. However, the proposed cuts threaten existing programs that are critically needed to continue our momentum gained on ending homelessness. Depleting city funds means Measure H funding will be spent on refilling gaps rather than moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And if I could, if you'd put up on my screen the other general public comment cards, speakers. Okay, can I get Gloria Neville, Coley Schoen, Michael Parker.
Good morning. My name is Patricia Neville. I reside in the Rey neighborhood for the last 29 years. My husband and I are very involved with the community, and we host a year meeting to get to know each other. My neighbors know we have a vacation rental, and they support us. As our health insurance has gone up to $1,300 a month, and my husband is now retired, we depend on the rental income to pay part of the insurance and home repairs. If we weren't to have this income, we could be at risk of losing our home in case of a health emergency, as hospitals and treatments can be extremely expensive. Please help us keep our home, our dignity, not to become a burden to our child or the city. Please do not put a cap on the amount of days we can rent. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi there. Good morning. My name is Coley Sohn, and I moved to Echo Park, Mitch O'Farrell's neighborhood, in 2000 from Venice, initially kicking and screaming. We thought we would hightail it back to the beach when money permitted, but instead the neighborhood completely embraced us, and we got involved in the community and made long-lasting friendships, became Dodger fans, discovered Elysian Park. My house in Echo Park, when I first saw, despite its condition, completely spoke to me, and I just knew it was my spot. And there's nowhere I'd rather be, there's nowhere I'd rather live. So my ex and I split up a few years ago, and I went from a double-income household to a single income. And I couldn't afford my mortgage or property taxes, and I could sell, but I couldn't get a new mortgage. I have 2 dogs and a cat. It would be very difficult to rent. So I have a small 120-square-foot studio structure in my backyard with an even smaller 3-quarter bathroom, and I couldn't rent it out.
Thank you.
That's it?
That's it, but
okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. Do we have Garth? Garth? Sit down, Mr. Spindler. You're disrupting the meeting. Just sit down. Nobody called your name. Okay, I'd like to call on Miss Martinez for a quick announcement or introduction. Miss Martinez, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I have been waiting for this moment for 4 years. It gives me a tremendous amount of honor and absolute amazement in my friend Monica Rodriguez, who just got elected last night to the LA City Council.
Congratulations.
So, Monica and I grew up in the same neighborhoods, graduated from San Fernando High School. She's a little younger than I am. But we have been an incredible force out in the Northeast San Fernando Valley to ensure that our community gets represented at every single level of government. Monica has paved the way for so many others to do the same, to give back and to ensure that our communities that look like us have a fair shot and get adequate representation and resources back to these neighborhoods. So I want to introduce you to all of you. I want us to give her a big, big round of applause and a warm welcome on behalf of the LA City Council. I want to introduce Councilwoman-elect Monica Rodriguez.
Well, this is going to be an incredible journey, and I want to thank you, Nuri, for your leadership and also paving the way for so many women to elected office. It takes great leadership to do it, and I appreciate you. And I also want to thank my husband, who's here with me this morning, but it was a hard-fought battle, guys. Thank you so much, and I just look forward to serving alongside you, making sure that the city is well served, and again, it's just been an incredible journey that started more than 20 years ago for a young intern working at a city council office, and to be here is an incredible honor. I'm grateful to so many friends that were involved in helping to pave my way to be here, and look forward to serving alongside all of you. So thank you all very much.
All right. Congratulations.
Look, hey, wait. No, let's not disrupt from the audience. Mr. Englander, if I could call you up here for a second. And we're still looking for, is Mr. Parker? Michael Parker?
All right, let's go into multiple speaker cards. We've got Herman up, and you're going to stick to the specific items, Herman. That is going to be your only warning on that. If you're not on topic, then you'll forfeit your time, as you know. So items 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24. No other comments except specifically on those items, please. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Speaking on topic. Now that we're on item 24, regarding the authorization of the general manager, thank you, children, for being respectful. Thank you, children. But now let's go on to the next item, final maps in CD15, the Silverton Cop. The Silverton Cop located where? Normandy Avenue. You should pay more attention to the Rosa Park Station. Now item 21, CD4. Absolutely, Mr. Price. Funding for additional police enforcement around the Hollywood sign. Well, what the hell does Price have to do with Hollywood when he's in the ghetto? Then I go to item 19 because I'm staying on topic with the bigger fool there. Resolution relative to the declaration of local emergencies. Didn't we have a fire here? Weren't we in a crisis for Friday? HollywoodHighland.org? Yes. Then I go to item 19, CD1. Cedillo, congratulations. Woo! But now going on the communication from the city engineer. relative to initiating, installing a vacate proceedings for what? A portion of a street alley. Thank you, Cedillo. You discovered what ADA means, the American Disability Act. And a shout out to Monica, the new 7-seat president. And then I go into item, where's the dibble dwarf? Oh, come back, sir. I'm not done. And then I'm on item 18 regarding price, communication from the city engineer around to installing, invading proceedings for an alley. Well, if you would take care of the alleys, we wouldn't have this discussion. Rookie. It's always a matter of an alley in our situation. Why can't we put gates and fence off all alleys in LA so we can really benefit from it? Listen, Rookie. When it comes to Florence Avenue and the east-west alley, all of you can vacate and come and see what it really is like to be in the ghetto. The trooper.
Okay. And 1 minute of general public comment.
Blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots.
Excuse me, there's not singing.
6, I'm on topic. I was the last one to know about all the pimps until Monica showed up on the show. So I put on my boots and I danced like this just to say hooray. Thank you, Cedillo. You got back in your chair. Now we're gonna pump up our arms and celebrate. We want Cedillo in District 1 so we can have some fun with Jose Weezer. We have fun. What convenience and necessity. Pour 'em down. I got beer and I got some drinks with Nuri the bitch in District 6, and that's all for real. Woo! Singing Herman, I'm a bitch.
All right, thank you very much, Herman. Your time is up. Thank you. Next speaker, please. All right, Eric Previn on items 7, 21, 23, and 24. Again, Mr. Previn, please stick to those specific items and those items only, or you'll forfeit your time. Thank you.
Thank you. It is Eric Previn from the 2nd District, and there seems to be a little cocktail party going on to the left over here. I don't know, is that appropriate? Oh, it's Ms. Rodriguez has been inaugurated. Congratulations, ma'am.
And you're not on the subject matter, so you forfeit your time. That's your only warning. So you can go ahead and go. You can talk about it in your 1 minute general public comment now.
I'm going to talk about the
budget.
So
can you go ahead and start as 1 minute of general public comment? I gave you a fair and final warning.
There's a disruption.
Gave you a warning.
Your lawyer, okay? That is not kosher.
You want to follow the rules, follow the rules. So I'll give you a second chance, but that's your only one. Stick to the items, Mr. Previn. As you know, you're here every day on every item. Stick to the items.
I am not here every day on every item, and I'm on item 7, which is the budget for the great city of Los Angeles. There are a lot of challenges, and there's a lot of confusion. Today, you could see Bonin and Martinez, who's at the cocktail party, voting in opposition to the other 3, Blumenfield, Krikorian, and the great, who is the 3rd one? Oh, the 5th one. He seems to, you got me on that one. I can't manage to produce the 5th. It's because there have not been adequate budget hearings, despite Mr. Krikorian's promise that he heard folks for 30 hours. He heard folks for approximately, an hour of the 30 hours, during which time he spent a lot of that time running the clock in advance of the appointed start time. The point is that we have challenges. The LAPD and the city attorney's office are not functioning particularly well. We have a lot of liability that has escalated, both in that group and also other departments. It's not fair to blame LAPD, who have a disproportionate amount of the liability, but We've seen a lot of activity now in the other departments like Salito Reynolds and the Bureau of Street Services and the roads. That case that came through Gabat last week has sent the radar high up into the sky about where this city is going and why the priorities have been adjusted in such a way that ordinary Angelenos who drive cars that when they're damaged in a pothole have to pay $700 to repair it. There is no relief, are one thing, and yet bicyclists who are riding at 50 miles an hour down a hill, and this is a tragedy, are covered by giant settlements, even though they probably have a lot of life insurance. There's something very, very wrong about that process. There's something very, very wrong about the conceiving of that process. And the people in CD7 know that, and Rodriguez and Tarosian, both of whom fought nobly, were aware of what are these? Why are we in the service of all these bicyclists? And who are the people driving this agenda, and why, when so many Angelenos need the roads? There was an article in the New York Times today, a big opinion piece about should we be going further to tax people for a fast lane, to let them pay to play. And again, this is going to separate what Mr. Cedillo loves to stand up.
Topic again.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about the transportation.
Okay, go ahead and start as 1 minute for general public comment.
Okay, the 1 minute warning. Thank you. I just have to ask Mike Fuhr, who is respected by a lot of people in this village, this town, this city, what he's doing and why so often the response to a reasonable inquiry by members of the public who care about these communities is met with a kind of disavowal of the public trust, a sort of a refusal to comply. We ask about Mitch O'Farrell returning money. Oh, it's not in the law. We ask about you, sir, going to Arizona to collect donations while running for supervisor. And now we have a taser deal that's bloated. We're entitled to money back. And where is that money back? Are you going to pursue it with Mr. Krikorian? Are you going to contact those folks and say, hey, you're giving start for free year one to everybody else, but now that LA is coughed up to get them in the position to command that kind of attention, now they're changing their name from Taser to Axon, little body cams. And the body cams are being stacked up in a data mess that we can't even as members of the public access what's going on. So I ask the city to do a better job.
Thank you very much, Mr. Previn. Your time is up. Next speaker, please. There's no applauding. Mr. Herman, you're going to be disrupting this meeting if you're going to be doing that, as you well know. So, Mr. Spindler. Items 7, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Stick to those very specific items, please, or we'll start your 1 minute of general public comment.
All right. 7 for the budget. So the budget needs money back for the last 8 months for CD7's field office activities. In the budget, it was agreed the winner of the CD7 primary would be immediately sworn into office and given back her budget for the past 9 months that Mr. Wesson has stolen the money from. Many people in CD7 are without services and have been without services. I went over there. There's thousands of cases that have not been processed by the staff in CD7 going back to the chipmunk Felipe Fuentes. But now Monica Rodriguez is elected. The election is final. She should be immediately sworn in today to get the funds into CD7. That's what Herb Wesson promised. There was a gentleman here yesterday that worked for Mr. Wesson. They had a conversation in Van Nuys that I videotaped in the stairwell, promising that that would happen in May. Now, she's here. I do not see Monica Rodriguez seated in this council. Why? Seat her now. She's here. Put her name right there in the corner. Well, but she's elect, so she can be sworn in. Okay? She can be sworn in. At least at a minimum, give her a contract with the city as the place sitter up to June the 4th. That way, Monica could start working now. Okay. The people of CD7 desperately need this budgetary money. Shadow Hills, Sunland, Tujunga. So that's what we need. Now, the rest of this stuff we got here is the usual, what I like to call bullshit. And I know my fans know I don't have the puppet today. The puppet's not feeling well today. So I'm going to pitch hit for the puppet. So number 21, look at this. Additional police enforcement around the Hollywood sign during Memorial Day? What the fuck is that? People can't visit the Hollywood sign on Memorial Day. It's a tradition. Everybody goes up to on Memorial Weekend to the Hollywood sign. You go up there, and again, people that do this, there are people who smoke methamphetamine underneath the Hollywood sign for religious purposes. So yes, go up to the Hollywood sign and smoke methamphetamine for religious purposes. Call David Rue's office and tell David Rue, open up the Hollywood sign to the community.
All right, thank you. And your 1 minute of general public comment.
So, again,
Herman,
we get
sit down.
We get the congrats. Oh, hold on. Okay. So we get the congrats. The racist in CD1 has been slaughtered. The pig, I will not say his name, has been slaughtered. Gil Cedillo now has been returned. This is a second chance for CD1. Let's get on Coronado Avenue between 8th and James M. Woods and get those encampments away from the children from Hoover Elementary. Please. I'm really glad about that. And I'm also glad Monica Rodriguez won. Why? Because Kiro Torosian is an agent of the Armenian government working for the criminal Paul Krikorian. So we don't have to deal with Paul Krikorian's criminal agent. Monica Rodriguez really lives in CD7. She's going to do a hell of a job. I hope to see her tonight at the Public Works meeting. Congratulations.
All right. No, thank you for your comments there as well. And Antonia Ramirez? Items 21 and 24.
I'm sorry, one moment. What is it? What is it?
21 and 24.
Okay. Number 21, hell no. You need more police in South LA, East LA, Boyle Heights, Pico Unions, and MacArthur Park. Why are we protecting a goddamn sign? We can always build another one or make another one as momentum as it is. Again, we should not be wasting money. Shame on all those who decide to do that. And number 24, excuse me here. We need, excuse me, wrong page. Community investments. We have not invested a single penny in any community. What we have invested and subsidized are the goddamn wetbacks and Chango Latino wetbacks and gangbangers. We have invested enormous amount of money to the point that we've got middle-class America and our beloved military veterans out on the streets homeless. What we do need is to shut down these housing community investment departments and all the housing agencies, fire them, give them the red boot up their asses, and deport all these goddamn wetbacks and gangbangers. That's what we need to do, and rehouse all the military veterans and a middle-class America. That's what we need to do, and God bless Donald Trump, and God bless Donald Trump and his family. So again, shut down the Los Angeles Housing Community Investment Department. They are involved in waste, fraud, and deception against all law-abiding American citizens, especially Los Angelinos. Again, this is an enormous amount of money that we are subsidizing, $6,527,000. Are we kidding? Let us stop subsidizing these goddamn wetbacks and gangbangers. Send them, napalm their asses out of here. And God bless America. God bless our military, and God bless Donald Trump and all the others. And we are happy Donald Trump made it on the throne. We are happy. And God bless, he fired James Comey. We are happy.
We're now off topic,
fire
Mr.
NSA,
President.
fire James Comey, and fire all the other departments.
Thank you. Okay, you're out of time. You're done. All righty. Now you're disrupting the meeting. So you got it. You already did it. That was not on.
I didn't do my minute. No, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me about my minute. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead on another minute rant, if you will.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We
God
miss
bless
your,
Mitchell
we miss your
Englander.
rants. It's been at least a couple days.
Ladies and gentlemen, stop the homeless racketeering. And we have a Nigerian black individual and his wife and his henchwoman. It's Pastor Chuwong Pam and Grace Pam and Florence Akuchie from Nigeria. These filthy, nasty pigs do not clean the shared transitional rooms. When one vacates out or they get kicked out, they do not come in and clean up. I did the cleaning. I had to call the LAPD Southeast Division. I had to clean up the entire place so the girl could come in and have a nice, clean, decent place to sleep in. I cleaned the walls and all the others. Thank you, officer. You're very kind. Thank you. I cleaned them, and I called the LAPD Southeast, and Officer Brown, Officer Andrade, and Sergeant Barnes did a great job of allowing me 24 hours to clean the place rather than having her move in at that moment on Mother's Day on May the 14th. God bless the Southeast Police Division. God
Thank
bless
you very
the
much.
LAPD.
All
And
right. We're done. Okay, and our next speaker, Rabbi, is it Lynn Price? No? Okay. Okay. So, not a real card. So we'll go ahead and file that. Okay, we're going to go ahead, members, and vote on 17 through 22 and item 24. (17 through 22 and 24). We'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
And Mr. President, there's been a request to send item 24 forthwith.
Okay, without objection, that'll be the order. Next item, please.
Mr. President, that brings us to item 23. It is an item scheduled for closed session. Cards have been exhausted at this point.
Mr. Herman, sit down. Sit down. You're disrupting the meeting. If you don't sit down, sergeants, please go ahead and escort him out. This is his fourth warning for standing up. Okay. You know what? Sergeants, help him get his phone and escort him out. You're disrupting this meeting again, purposely. You set it down to walk around the aisle. You've already been warned. Please escort him out. Now you're disrupting the meeting. Please escort him out. Mr. Herman, leave now. You're disrupting this meeting. Out. Out. You're done.
And for the record, he's continuing to make noise as he leaves the room and continues
All
to
right,
interrupt the
Mr.
meeting.
Herman, stop disrupting this meeting as you're walking out. Mr. Spindler, thank you for shouting out again. We'll see you later. You're disrupting the meeting. I've warned you 4 times as well. See you later. Sergeants, please show him out. Come on. We're going to start charging you babysitting time if you continue this. Come on. Out. You're disrupting the public's time.
And
Goodbye.
Mr. Spindler is continuing
You're
to
still
speak
disrupting this
and
meeting.
disrupt the meeting.
Keep walking. Keep walking. Keep moving, or the sergeants will help you move. I'm not kidding. Mr. Spindler, out. Now. You're still disrupting this meeting. Keep walking. You're continuously disrupting this meeting and taking away from the public's time to do the public's business. And we have the Girls Academic Leadership Academy here at City Hall, and I want to welcome you. You just got to witness what it's like sometimes and things we get to deal with, but more importantly, we're also dealing with some very important issues today. You happen to be sitting in on while we are also taking public comment on the city's annual budget of $9.2 billion, which we'll be voting on tomorrow. And so we wanted to welcome you here to your Los Angeles City Council, and let's give them a big round of applause. You all stand up and be recognized. Come on, stand up. So you're going to be on television. Go ahead and stand up. All right. Thank you very much for being here and joining us. All right. Let's go ahead and take the next item, please.
Mr. President, that is item 23. It was a matter scheduled for closed session.
Okay. Unless we have any questions on this item, we can go ahead and vote on it. We're good to go. We've already heard the committee. So we'll go ahead and open the roll.
Mr. President, pardon me. For item 23, in the case entitled Feliciana Escobedo et al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend $130,000 in settlement.
Mr. Kokorian.
Well, Mr. President, just for the record, this matter was waived by Budget and Finance, but it does appear to be a routine settlement, so we can take it up in open session.
So thanks for that clarification. Okay, we'll go ahead and open the roll on that item, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Approved. Next item, please.
Mr. President, that brings us to item number 7.
All right, item number 7, colleagues. Mr. Kokorian.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I'll give a lengthier introduction to the budget tomorrow when we take it up for a vote. Today is simply the day when we receive public comment on the proposed budget committee report. But I do just want to remind all of you that anyone who would like to submit budget amendment requests or request memos about the budget for tomorrow's hearing, you have the opportunity to do so today, and I would strongly urge you to do so today. Get your requests into the CLA, please, today, because if you do, then the CLA will be able to prepare these requests in advance. We'll be able to vote on them tomorrow expeditiously, and we won't have the delays that come as we wait for the folks in the back to be typing them up and preparing them. So the CLA is prepared to receive your requests today. Please take full advantage of that, and things should go very smoothly tomorrow when we need to vote.
All righty, excellent. Thank you very much. So, colleagues, that's critically important. If you can get the motions in as soon as possible so we can begin deliberating those, that would be very, very helpful. And I want to thank Mr. Kokorian for his steadfast leadership in this, and we'll give all the gratitude tomorrow once we pass the final budget. So with that...
Well, the one other addition, Mr. President, thank you, is just a reminder that any motions relating to the budget that have a budget impact will be referred to the Budget and Finance Committee. They will not be voted on tomorrow. So you're free to introduce those motions, but they will not affect the budget that we vote on tomorrow until they're heard by the Budget and Finance Committee.
No, thank you for pointing
as
that out.
has been our practice throughout recent years.
And in fact, with that, colleagues, if you feel that you have to rush for anything, don't forget we do turn around and do the FSRs as well, and that's another opportunity throughout the year for those motions. So thank you for that clarification and direction, Mr. Kokorian. So with that, colleagues, we're actually not going to vote on 7. We'll go ahead and continue it till Thursday, and that'll be the order.
No comment.
We're closing the hearing on public comment, though. That's correct. We've already held the public hearing, and so there will be no public comment tomorrow, except for the fact that we'll have the full budget item here at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Full council. Okay, next item, please.
Mr. President, that would clear the desk right now. We have motions for posting and referral.
We'll go ahead and post and refer those. I'd like to give a special shout out to my cousin Josh, who's here as well, so holding up the pillars. And with that, colleagues, do we have any announcements? Yes, Mr. Blumenfield.
Yes, I just want to announce on Friday, this May 19th at 10 a.m., please join me, my colleagues here, the Jewish Federation of Greater Los Angeles, other elected officials here at City Hall for our first ever celebration of Jewish Heritage Month. In addition to a special City Council presentation, come and enjoy the performance of Theater Diebuchhoff's original play, Exagogue, as well as a walk through history with Brooklyn Avenue to Cesar Chavez, Jewish Histories in Multi-Ethnic Boyle Heights, an exhibition from the UCLA Alan D. Levy Center for Jewish Studies, and we're going to have refreshments in the rotunda after the presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. And another announcement again, tomorrow, Thursday, we do have the full City Council meeting on the budget at 9 a.m. for all council members. We will be Bonnet-friendly attire for those who want to be comfortable.
Regular council meeting.
So
it is a
announcements
regular
are done
meeting.
and over. Do we have adjourning motions? Do we have adjourning motions?
Meeting.
Please shut off that microphone. All right. Do we have adjourning motions?
Mr. President,
yes, Mr.
adopting the budget is one of the most important things we do. We got to be dressed in our Sunday best tomorrow.
Sunday, yes. Sunday best. So, yes. So we'll be in onesies on. All right. If we can get everybody in council chambers to please rise for adjourning motions. We can get everybody to please rise for adjourning motions. Councilwoman Martinez, did you have an adjourning motion?
I do not.
Oh, okay. I thought you had one. Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we've lost a great Los Angeles citizen, Mary Louise Frawley, who's a writer, journalist, and a dedicated volunteer who lived in Los Angeles most of her life and passed away last month after a long illness. She was 67. She was one of 9 children, and her father was the CEO of Schick Razor Company, Papermate Pen Company, and Technicolor. Mary Louise graduated from the University of Southern California, where she earned an English degree. She became a writer and journalist and worked for several publications in New York and Los Angeles, and most recently the National Catholic Register. She was a seminal figure in the Los Angeles Republican Party and was a chairwoman of the San Fernando Valley Lincoln Club. She was elected to the Los Angeles County Republican Central Committee and was a member of the California Republican Party. She volunteered on a number of elections and was most proud of her work to help elect Richard Riordan in 1993. She was also on the Los Angeles Convention Center Commission and later on the Disability Commission, and was a California commissioner on alcoholism as well. Most notable for me, she was recognized for her work to have warning signs posted in all establishments serving or selling alcohol, warning women of the dangers of fetal alcohol syndrome should they drink while pregnant. This is now required by California law, and this hard-fought victory earned her high praise and recognition from state and local officials. She was a devout Roman Catholic. Her faith never wavered, even in the darkest days of her illness, which she saw as a challenge and a blessing. She is survived by her 2 brothers and 4 sisters, Dr. Joseph Frawley, Michael Frawley, Francis Swanson, Eileen Callahan, Joseph Desmond, and Barbara Ross.
Thank you. Looking for any other adjourning motions on my right, seeing none. On my left, we got one. Yes, Mr. Blumenfield.
You join me in adjourning in the memory of Teresa Lynn Martin. She was a member of our city family. She was a dedicated city employee who died in a traffic collision last Thursday. She started her career 16 years ago in September 2001 as an administrative hearing examiner with the Department of Transportation. She later accepted a permanent position in April 2005 with the Los Angeles Public Library, the Mid-Valley and Platt Avenue branches as a clerk typist. Within a year, Ms. Martin was promoted to the management assistant with the LAPD in the West Valley Gang Impact Team. She later promoted to Management Analyst 1 in the LA Fire Department, Emergency Services Bureau, Arson Counterterrorism Section. Her last assignment began in 2010, in February, with the Economic and Workforce Development Department, where she held the position of Management Analyst 2. Ms. Martin was a key contributor to the success of the EDD, where she assisted with the major and small business loan programs, bonds, contracts, portfolio management, and rapid response units. Prior to her city employment, a lot of folks who knew her may not have known, but she spent 15 years in the world of traditional hand-drawn animation. She worked for notable studios such as the Walt Disney Feature Animation and DreamWorks, where her traditional hand drawings graced a variety of animated movies, such as The Prince of Egypt, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Hercules, and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, just to name a few. She taught drawing and animation at the California Art Institute for 5 years while volunteering at the Westlake Village Art Guild as their newsletter editor. Ms. Martin epitomized the dedication, loyalty. She was an invaluable public servant. The quality of her work is unsurpassed. She had a perfect attendance record which is rare in this city, and that record was unblemished. She was a devoted pet parent who took time off to say goodbye to her beloved pup, Brandy, in February 2017. Teresa was always willing and went out of her way to help everyone in the department. She was kind, friendly, and always had a smile on her face. She's survived by her parents, her sister, her brother-in-law, many friends. We'll all miss Miss Martin deeply and are very grateful for the time that we had with her and her service to this great city. May she rest in peace.
Very sad. Well, thank you for taking the time to adjourn in her memory. Mr. Cedillo.
Yes, Margarita Vincent Aguilar was born February 9th, 1954, which means she had just turned 63. She was born at the Lincoln Hospital over on Soto and 4th Street. Her parents were Lawrence Vincent and Manuela Noriega Vincent. She had two sisters, Maria and Isabel, and she grew up here in Echo Park on the south side of Sunset, CD1. And she married the love of her life, Paul Aguilar, in 1982. And this year they would have celebrated 35 years of blissful marriage. She has three sons, Paul Jr., Michael, Anthony, and she was very proud of her sons. She worked for 2 decades for a cruise line based here in Los Angeles, which allowed her to travel the world with her children. And she lived on Mount Washington with her husband, Paul. She passed away May 6, 2017, after a short and very unexpected battle with cancer. She will forever be remembered for her kindness, generosity, and loving spirit. Her son, Paul Jr., was an intern in my office as a high school student. He's from Loyola. He's a graduate of law school, a Marshall Fellow, spent some time in Brazil. He is an extraordinary young man. I got to know his parents both through him and then later as constituents in Mount Washington. They were an amazing couple who were still acting like they were on their first dates. And they were a pleasure to be around, just loved their children. Paul, obviously, is a son that everyone wants to dote on. And they're just a really great couple, very active, very vibrant, just enjoying life and so proud of their children. And then suddenly, without expectation, cancer emerged into their life, and she lost a short and unexpected battle. I feel for her husband and for her children, but she gave them so much love and encouragement. Just a wonderful family, and she will be missed. I know she's missed. Monday were her services, and she'll be sorely missed, both in Mount Washington, in CD1, and within her family.
Thank you for that.
I can add my name to the adjournment as well. I know Paul personally. He's an amazing young man. Dating a very good friend of mine, Leti Rodriguez, from the Northeast San Fernando Valley. But Paul, right after graduating from law school, went to intern at LAUSD under the legal department. He's an amazing young man, and I feel for his family. So my prayers go out to him, his entire family, and I'd like to add my name to that adjournment as well. Thank you, Mr. Cedillo.
Thank you. With that, seeing no other adjourning motions, that concludes the council meeting. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, and be safe.
I work for the #1 tug and barge company in the busiest port in the United States. I've been a tugboat captain since around 1998. In the industry since 1992. I joined the Coast Guard right out of high school. My dad thought I needed boot camp, so he talked me into going in the Coast Guard. I had a chief that knew somebody that was in the tug industry, and I just thought it was fascinating. I like the responsibility of the job. You know, once you're underway, it's your ship. You usually work at a really high pace, and I like that because it makes the shift go by really fast. We check in when we first come to work, and we could be doing a tanker, we could be doing an escort from sea, we could be moving a barge, we never know. The larger ships coming into the port nowadays have up to 3 tugs on them. Generally, you have one on the stern of the ship helping steer and helping for brakes, and the other tug or tugs will be up on either shoulder. This tug, the Lila Franco, has 66 tons of bollard pull. We can operate forward and backwards and to a limited scope sideways. And I do a lot of the ship rescues and the special operations. One of the first ship rescues I did here at Harley Marine was a container ship that was disabled about 1,000 miles due west, and we went through at least 3 storms on the way out, and we were into 35, 40-foot seas. And we got out there and we got the ship back into port.